A billionaire stopped his luxury car and sat beside a homeless veteran. What he said next changed everything. In a city that never stops moving, where traffic blares and footsteps race, one woman stays still. Angela sits quietly on a metal bench, just another unnoticed soul among the city's chaos. She's stationed there every day across a bustling cafe, but the smell of coffee never quite reaches her. Her world is reduced to an old fast food cup with spare coins, a worn-out backpack, and the weight of memories too heavy to carry. She wasn't always here. Once, Angela wore a uniform, a U.S. Marine. Disciplined, brave, respected. Now, she fights a different war, against cold mornings, aching legs, and the emptiness of being invisible. People pass by daily. Some glance, most ignore. No one ever stops. Until today. A sleek black Rolls-Royce pulls up. The kind of car made for billionaires, not beggars. A man in a crisp charcoal suit steps out. Polished, powerful, and strangely familiar. Not the type to slow down, let alone sit beside someone forgotten. But that's exactly what he does. He doesn't hand her money, doesn't lecture her. He sits, silent, steady, present. And for a moment the city's noise fades. He notices what others miss. Her straight back, her military backpack, the way she scans her surroundings. "You served," he says calmly. Angela doesn't know whether to be cautious or curious. People like him don't stop. They don't see people like her. But he saw, and that changes everything. They talk, not like a billionaire and a homeless woman, but like two humans with scars you can't always see. He tells her about his father, a veteran who came home but was never the same. And for the first time in a long time, Angela doesn't feel like a ghost in the city. This isn't charity, it's connection. But why is he really here? As they walk to a quiet restaurant, Angela can't help but wonder, what does this man want? Because no one stops just because, right? As the scent of warm food fills the air, Angela quietly stares at her plate, not eating, just observing. She watches Elliot, unsure of what he really wants. Then finally, she speaks. "All right, rich guy, let's say I believe you. What now?" Elliot leans back slightly, a faint smile on his face. "That depends on what you want." Angela doesn't reply immediately. Instead, she takes her first bite in what feels like forever, the warmth of the meal grounding her, reminding her she's still human. But his words stick with her. "Not just a meal, something more permanent." "What do you mean by that?" she asks, setting her fork down. Elliot meets her eyes. "I want to help you. Not just for tonight." Angela stiffens. She's heard these promises before. People show up full of kindness and walk away when it gets hard. She scoffs bitterly. "You trying to be my savior now?" But Elliot shakes his head. "No, I want to offer you something. A chance. What you do with it is up to you." Angela narrows her gaze. "What kind of chance?" Then comes the part she never expected. "I want you to work for me," he says. Angela freezes. "What?" "I run companies, charities, programs. I can get you a job. A real one. Something stable." She laughs. Not out of humor, but disbelief. "You don't even know me." "But I know enough," he says calmly. "I know you're not weak. I know you survived more than most people could handle. I know you're not the problem. The world's indifference is." Angela's grip tightens on the fork. She wants to believe him, but trust doesn't come easy. Too many people walked away before. "Why me?" she asks. Elliot takes a breath. "Because I've ignored too many people like you in the past. I don't want to be that person anymore." He slides a card across the table. "You don't have to answer now, but when you're ready, call." Later, Angela sits on the same bench, the card in her hand. One call could change everything, or she could disappear again. But before she decides, a photo of them goes viral. Billionaire seen dining with homeless woman. Some call him a hero. Others accuse him of a PR stunt. By morning, reporters are camped outside her shelter, shouting questions. Did he offer you money? Are you taking the job? Is this all for show? Angela ducks away. This isn't the life she wanted. From invisible to spectacle overnight. Later, trying to understand what's really going on, Angela visits a library. She types in his name, Elliot Baines. She expects headlines, interviews, but what she finds stops her cold. His father, Daniel Baines. U.S. Army, 2 tours in Iraq, died 10 years ago in a VA hospital. Her heart races. She knew that name. Daniel was in her old veteran support group. Quiet, broken, proud. She remembers how he once said he didn't want to burden his son, that he'd figure things out. Weeks later, he was gone. This wasn't coincidence. Elliot didn't just see her on the street. He saw his father in her. She grips the business card. Not just from guilt. He understood. He saw her. That same afternoon, Angela makes the call. The voice on the other end? Mr. Baines' office. Tell him it's Angela, she says quietly. He'll know. Seconds later, Elliot picks up. I was hoping you'd call. Angela's voice is steady now. I remember your father. A pause. I thought you might, Elliot replies. I didn't want this to feel like charity. I stopped because I know what happens when people like you and him are forgotten. I can't let that happen again. Elliot invites her to meet. No cameras, no pressure. Angela stands outside his sleek glass building, nervous, unsure. She could turn around. But something in her says maybe this time is different. Inside the office is all glass and power, the kind of place where people like her don't belong. But Elliot greets her like an equal. No cameras, no speeches, just us. Why me? She asks again. Elliot doesn't flinch. Because I want you to help me build something real for veterans, by veterans. A center for support, jobs, counseling. Not temporary aid, real reintegration. Angela is stunned. You want me to do what? Work with me. Build this with me. You've lived this. You understand. I need that. Her voice drops. You're serious? Elliot nods. I wouldn't have stopped that day if I wasn't. 1 month later, Angela walks into a freshly painted building in Austin, Texas. The sign reads, the Daniel Baines Veteran Support Center. She turns to Elliot. You really named it after him? He would have wanted this, Elliot replies softly. Angela looks different now. Trimmed hair, clean clothes, a steady roll. But more than that, she feels different, purposeful, seen. Staff bustle inside. Some veterans, some counselors, preparing for the first group of struggling ex-soldiers about to walk in. Angela thinks of that old bench. Now she stands by the door to welcome others into the second chance she almost never got. You could have walked past me that day, she says. Why didn't you? Elliot smiles faintly. My father once told me, the only way to truly fail someone is to pretend they don't exist. Angela lets the words settle in. She turns toward the door, ready to greet the first soul looking for hope, just like she once did. Because now she sees them. Just like someone finally saw her. If this story touched you, don't let it end here. Support your local veteran shelters. Volunteer. Donate. Or see. Because sometimes just being seen is the start of everything. And if you believe in second chances, hit that subscribe button.